All right, welcome everyone. We're so glad to have you here today with us. My name is Jake and I will be your community host today for this very exciting SwagUp webinar on redeem pages. So first I'll give a quick overview on what to expect for the next 60 minutes. We'll meet our speakers and cover a quick introduction to redeem pages for those new to the experience. Then we'll share what's new with this product launch and check out a demo in the SwagUp dashboard. Stay tuned on that for your chance to win some very exclusive redeem launch swag. And finally, we'll take a look at what's next and head into Q&A with you all. So on that note, remember to share any questions you think of during the webinar via the Q&A panel on your right-hand side of the screen, and we'll do our best to get to all the questions at the end. And with that, it's my pleasure to welcome our very own Michael Martocci, founder and chief swag officer, and Rob Bowman, our product manager leading the new redeem page launch, to the stage.
Sweet. Awesome. Thanks, Jake. Super excited to do this webinar and launch. This is the first time that we've ever done anything like this. A lot of times we like to launch things into the ether and people just kind of find out about them naturally and through sales reps and through kind of the experience on the site. And with Redeem, this is something that we've been thinking about and talking about and even leveraging a lot ourselves over the, for a long time now. And we wanted to make sure we did this justice and do a nice, exciting launch and educate everybody on what we've been building and kind of why we did it, and also showcase some of the stuff coming up in the future as well. So that's why Rob's on here. Rob's the lead product manager as well that led this initiative. It's been a huge team effort across the board, across the entire company. We even did a hackathon on this, which I'll go into in a little bit. But we're super excited to share what we've been building. And this is very much the foundation of a lot more stuff to come. This is very much version 1 and iteration 1 of what we've built, with a lot more to come. And Rob will go into some of that as well. So we'll share, just to start off, we'll share some background and go a little bit into the problem that, we're actually trying to solve. So, if you've worked with us in the past, you might have seen that we have redeem pages or, some sort of solution to help you collect addresses and make this process a little bit easier. But candidly, that was more of a one-off kind of, we built that on the side, wasn't fully, truly natively integrated into the experience. And, first off, why did we even build Redeem to begin with? So, started the company 5 years ago. And at the time, managing swag has always been kind of a pain in the ass, in general. The idea of kind of figuring out what sizes, your team is or your customers are, what their addresses are, what's their latest addresses, are they valid? Are they in the format that our vendor needs? There's just a lot of moving pieces and a lot of balls that basically get dropped, and this ends up becoming way more work for people than it needs to be. So essentially, customers were missing information required to create and manage successful swag projects. And not only were they missing it, it's just not easy to collect it. And what that leads to is, you don't know if the addresses are valid, what a power size is, all this kind of stuff. And we've seen it over and over and over again. It's typically the biggest pain point that people have when trying to kind of launch a swag project, especially if you're talking about, let's say, holiday gift orders for an entire company of 2,000, 3,000 people, or, sending things out to your customer base. It's just very, very tricky to do this kind of stuff. So with that, I want to go into kind of like where we took this problem and what the next steps were. So as I said, this product that we're launching here today was born from a hackathon, and this hackathon too was the first hackathon that we had ever done. So earlier in the year, we were looking for ways to invigorate kind of energy and productivity into the engineering and product teams and the company in general, but then also to solve a really core problem. And it wasn't your true hackathon where you just keep it very broad and open-ended. We very specifically wanted to solve the problem that I just kind of outlined. And it was one of the most amazing cultural initiatives that the company had ever gone through. We had huge participation. Probably around half the company was on some sort of team. And there were these cross-functional teams where you had people in customer support working alongside product designers, working alongside engineers, working alongside recruiters. It was just a really interesting experience. And the team had a ton of fun of it. You could see every team was making memes throughout the week. So some of those are there. And as I said, it was truly a team effort to build this redeem functionality. And what was awesome was that the team went from start to finish in under 3 months. So I think it was 74 days total to go from start to launching this in a beta environment. So we've actually had this redeem functionality in beta with 10 to 15% of our users over the last over the last month or so. So it's been, it's gone through kind of the ringer a bit, and we've added some functionality since. So with that, we'd love to kind of talk a little bit more also about what exactly are redeem pages. Obviously, I went into some of the problems that we tried to solve, but the way that we describe them are the simplest way to distribute swag to recipients globally by giving them the power to provide accurate information. So, and we'll go into a full-on demo, but essentially it's the idea of landing pages that you can build out on demand as you need, fully in your control, to do things like sending swag to new hires, sending it to VIP client gifts, community ambassadors, customer onboarding, loyalty programs, social media swag giveaways, talent and culture initiatives, embedding links within other campaigns that you're doing to just make this a lot more seamless. So we're super, super excited to dive into the specifics and do a more in-depth demo. But before we jump into the actual functionality, wanted to just showcase a launch video to kind of get you excited and ready to go. So. Sweet. Awesome. Thanks, Jake. So like I said, going to dive into a more full in-depth demo now. After that, Rob's going to take over and kind of share some more context as well as the roadmap for what Redeem's going to look like over the next month or two as we continue to build this out. So I'm going to do a screen share real quick and go into the product demo. So this is, as I said, this is a live product demo inside the SwagUp.com experience. Everybody who has a SwagUp account can go in here today and do this themselves. If you're not a customer, you can create your own account right away. It's free. We don't charge for the software. You can go in here and get started. So if you've been in the SwagUp dashboard before, this looks familiar. There's a few things that I have on mine that maybe you don't. For example, the products tab, but we'll save that for another launch. But as of today, if you're in the SwagUp dashboard, you'll see this tab here that says redeem. It shows with a little beta tag. It looks like this. So if you've never been in it before, you'll have an empty state that basically says, hey, let's prompt you to make your first redeem page. And that's what we'll do. I have one already in here and we'll look at that one as well, but let's create our first redeem page. And what we're going to do is make a redeem page specifically for this presentation. So we had talked about giving away some limited edition swag. And, so we'll use this redeem page to get the link into your hands as viewers. And we're going to select 5 people from the presentation who fill out the redeem page to get them sent some limited edition swag. So let's do that live here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a redeem page here. And what we do is we allow you to name it. So I'm going to call this redeem demo because that's what we're doing. It's tying it to the SwagUp talent and culture account because that's the one that I'm on. And then we're going to pick a logo. So I'm just going to go into my redeem assets and I have our SwagUp logo here. If you have a logo tied to your account, it'll show it and you can use that as a default or you can upload another one. So that in real time, essentially, you're going to be seeing your page being built out on the right side here. So I'm going to select the SwagUp logo. Now, what we do is we give you this lightweight functionality to customize the page. And with these controls, you can create pretty incredible designs, even with pretty limited customization capabilities. So we have a standard light theme. We have a dark theme. And then some of the elements will automatically change. And we also have a custom theme where you can completely alter the colors. If you have certain hex codes for your brand, you can put those in there and do all that kind of stuff. So I'm gonna do a white one here because I'm gonna be using an image that has a white background to show you what the pack's gonna look like. So we're gonna use the light theme. We have a few different fonts that you can use: Gilroy, Helvetica, and Futura for now. We'll stick with Gilroy because that's our font. I'm going to change the color of the button, the accent colors. So I'm going to do 3577D4 because that's our blue. And I'll keep the font this dark blue. because navy is part of our brand colors. So next up will allow you to change and alter the text. So I'm going to say, welcome to redeem demo. And I'm just going to put a little rocket ship here because I love the rocket ship emoji. Subtitle text you can change here as well. I'm just going to keep it as is. And I'm going to say the call to action is snag your swag, because I think that's more fun. And then what we allow you to do here as well is change the associated image on the right. We allow you to do multiple types of files, including GIFs as well, which I'll show you what a GIF could look like in another example. But for this one, like I said, we're giving out this limited edition redeem swag pack. So I'm just going to put the actual items that are associated with this pack so you can kind of get a sense of what it's going to look like. We also have the ability to enable or disable if you want to ask people for their size or not. So if it's an item, if you're just collecting a bunch of recipients' information and you're going to be sending them something that's not size related, you can just skip this question and not have it. But we're going to keep it on there just because, it's good to have the sizes for future needs as well. So I'm going to continue. And then we also allow you to customize, in a lightweight way, the confirmation page. So I'm going to say, congrats, you're on the list. And I'm a terrible typer, so I'll fix that. And I'm going to put a little check mark like this. We got that. And you're on the short list of future swag recipients. So I'm going to create it. And literally within seconds, that page is now generated. So I can go to a URL here. And you can see this page is now redeem.swagup / the account number / the name of the account. And what I can do as a recipient, let's say I sent this out to one of you all, or our new hire or something like that. You go in here and then they can put in their information. So I'm going to put in my information here. If you want to email me, you can. It's michael@swagup.com. We have validations throughout this process as well to catch if they're, inputting incorrect information, because that's always been a big problem in the past too, is making sure that the information that's being asked and entered to SwagUp, or for you guys as well, is actually accurate, because you don't want to run into issues where you're shipping something to somebody in India or California or whatever, and it's incorrect information, and then that item gets lost, and then it's lost in the mail, and you don't end up actually receiving the products. We're going to continue here. I'm going to put in an address here in Florida, Northeast 28th Street. And we're going to say this is in Wilton Manors. And I'm going to put in, it's in Florida. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to put in the wrong zip code. I'm going to put in a zip code from New Jersey and submit it. And what we do in this case is we catch that. We say, hey, this doesn't look like the right address. You've entered this. We believe it to be this address. And that actually is the case. This is the right address. So I'm going to switch here and use this address. They're saying I didn't put in the US +1. Use this address. Sorry. Oh, I might have typed my phone number in wrong. Let's see, 732-320-09. Oh, I added an extra 0. Sorry. See, it catches that. And that's an issue too, because FedEx, when they go to ship, if the phone number's wrong, it causes a lot of issues. So now I'm on the list, and what that looks like now in the Redeem dashboard is I can see all the details of the people that have submitted. So right here, Michael Martocci gets added as somebody that's redeemed. And what ends up happening here is I automatically get added to a shipping group. So you have Redeem demo here, and you'll see that my address is automatically tied to it. So you can either use that, or you can export the shipping list and then apply it to a shipment in the future. You can apply it to an order that you're placing. And then Rob's also going to talk about how we'll eventually start allowing you to automatically create shipments there as well. Once you've created the page, you can also edit it and go back in here and make changes. We also allow you you have the link here. You can copy the link, and I can also turn this page off so that when people go in there, they can't actually submit, and you can just have these sitting paused as well. So I'm going to keep it active. And then I just want to show you one more example of one that has a GIF tied to it. So this one, super proud of how this one came out. It only took me 45 seconds to make, but just to give you an example of what they can look like in terms of customization, if you have some cool branded assets that you want to leverage. So this one, for example, we had this nice GIF, and we made a cool little redeem page to to kind of get new hires excited to get their new hire swag pack. So there's so much more coming after in the next month or two. And with that, I want to kick it off over to Rob so he can go into some more detail about some of the upcoming functionality as well.
Cool. Well, thank you, Michael. Let me get my screen share set up so I can take us the rest of the way. Alrighty. So yeah, as Jake and Michael introduced me before, my name is Rob Bowman. I'm the lead product manager for Redeem. Michael just did a great job of demoing where we're at today, and I want to take a few minutes to explain the road ahead, especially for the rest of the 2022 calendar year. So the dates you see here are the goals that our team is working towards. Our intention in sharing these with you is so you have a general expectation of what's coming down the pipeline and potentially when it's going to be in your hands. So the first feature is product select over here. We're tracking towards completing this quarter, Q3. And since we're working on it currently, I want to take a few minutes here just to give you a sneak peek at what's going on. So now this is a prototype of our mocked up designs. The finished product feature may not look exactly like this, but you'll get a general sense of the functionality we're shooting for. So as Michael just showed, this is our Redeem tab. You can go ahead and start by creating a page. You'll see a new selection coming up between a collection Redeem page or an Autoship Redeem page. This one's not available yet. We'll get to that in a few minutes. But you'll be selecting a collection type Redeem page. All of this is essentially the same that Michael just went through, just some small UI enhancements that I'll skip over for now. But this is a new step in the process, step 4 here, where you get to select your page type. Here you'll have product select as an option or contact collection only. Contact collection only is what we have today, what Michael just walked through. So that's the functionality of contact collection only. What we're adding is this product select, and this is where you can tie one or more specific products that you have to a page, and that way your recipients can select whatever product they like to redeem. So what that looks like is you have an ability, of course, to customize the question that you want to ask to your user, but then you can select the products, up to 4 products in this first version. So if you're selecting products, you're brought into a page like this. You can see the images, the title of all the products in your account. We make sure to highlight what type of product it is, whether it's a bulk or a pack option. The different shipping options. So we have some products that cannot ship globally or internationally. So we show that the ones and highlight the ones that are US only or global. And then we also highlight the size availability. And a couple of nuances here I just want to explain really quickly is we have inventory sizes, which is items or products that you've ordered in the past and are in our warehouse that you have available inventory for. And then we also have available sizes, which is items you don't have inventory for currently, potentially because you haven't placed an order, but it's available in these sizes from our supplier. So these are available to order. This one you see says one size because it's a tumbler, but if it was a t-shirt, for example, it might say small, medium, large, whatever our suppliers offer. And then we do also say when something's out of stock to prevent you from adding it to a redeem page. So in this example, the supplier is currently out of stock of the baseball t-shirt and or does not carry it anymore. So you'll know at that point if it's something that you can order or not. And the one thing you might be asking yourself is, this is great, but a lot of the pictures are small, especially if I'm trying to choose the right pack that I want to put on the page. And you can click on it, see a lot more detailed image of it, and go through and when in the pack case, all the different products that are available in the pack. But let's go ahead and select 4 of these that we can add to our page. So now you can see here we have the product selected. You can see the preview up here mocked up. I'm just going to continue the flow. Still have the opportunity to add your confirmation page. And since this is a prototype, I'm going to jump over to what it looks like on the recipient's end. So you'll notice, again, slight UI enhancements here, but we go right into selecting which product that the recipient prefers. So they have the option of these 4 that we just selected for them. Again, if they want to get a better view of everything that's included, especially in packs, they can click View Detail, see the same image that you saw when you were selecting. And then let's say you can go ahead and choose the pack here. This part is same flow that Michael just went through. One thing I will call out at the apparel size question here is if you choose a product with apparel size, we're only going to show in that drop down the available sizes. We're not going to set you up to fail by letting someone choose an extra small if that's not available. And this whole section is some new UI, but same functionality as we currently have. And then lastly, I want to take you to the view details section. So the 2022 hiring pack is the one I just mock created. So let's take a look at the view details page, very similar to what Michael just went through, but you can see a little bit more information here. We show off what each recipient selected of the products, and we also show when they submitted their form. And we also have a ticker up here of how many people have submitted redemptions. And at this point, you probably want to know, well, how much of each did everyone submit? You can go and click on one of the products listed in that column, and you can see here exactly how it breaks out. So you can see 500 people received it, 100 chose the Nike t-shirt, 300 chose the hiring pack, 100 chose the journal, and unfortunately no one chose the pour tumbler, but that's okay. In addition to that, you can also see a size breakdown of the individual sizes within a product, so you know how much to either order or how much you need to ship out or fulfill. So that's just a quick sneak peek. Let me go back to the presentation here. A quick sneak peek of product select. What we have next up is Autoship, which we're looking to complete early in Q4. This will allow you to create redeem pages so that when a recipient submits a form, it automatically creates and schedules the shipment for you. No manual intervention on your side. It just will send out and just save you a lot of time. We hear you when you say you want to be able to kind of set it and forget it. That's what this does. Then later in Q4, we intend to tackle unique links. I believe I already saw a question in the notes about one-time use and how do we prevent duplicate submissions. Well, this will help give you peace of mind. So we do get a lot of questions about how can we ensure that the recipient filling out the form is the intended recipient and not someone's mailman that the link got forwarded to. Well, with one-time unique links, you know which link each recipient has and prevent multiple submissions on the same link. So that's going to take us through the rest of 2022, and we'll get started on 2023. And trust me when I say we have plenty of fun and game-changing ideas for Redeem that'll take your swag game to the next level. So stay tuned for that. And with that, I'll hand things back over to Jake to take us home.
Thanks, Rob. Okay, so
real quick before we jump into the Q&A as well, as Rob was saying, there's a ton of exciting stuff planned for Redeem going in the future. I mean, we see this as the on-ramp into e-commerce storefronts as well. For example, there's not a huge difference between a recipient going into an experience like this, picking from 4 options, putting in their information and basically checking out. And we see this as the on-ramp for us to then easily move into allowing you to self-service, build out your own kind of storefronts that people can pick from different items, potentially give them points and credits to go towards that, and then automatically fulfill those items as well. So we're excited to continue to use it. We're excited to get you all kind of using it as well, so we can get more feedback quicker and constantly kind of iterate on this. But and I saw there were some good questions, so let's get into the questions so we can help some people get some clarity.
Cool. So I'll just go in order, and if you feel like your question has been answered, you can also remove it. But until then, I'll start with Rebecca from San Antonio. Is the link one-time use?
Cool. So what we've done initially from a validation standpoint is limit each unique redeem page to one email address. So I won't share my screen right now, but if I went to go into that redeem demo URL page and go in and try to submit another response with Michael at SwagUp, I'll get an error message that says, hey, you've already you've already used this email to receive a package, and I won't be able to submit it. So that definitely helps in the meantime. But long term, as Rob said, what we're going to be doing is allowing you to generate a list of unique URLs that are one time that expire after using them. as well as allowing you to upload a list of email addresses so that we can just send that email to the end recipients with those unique URLs as well. So we did put in some lightweight validation for you for now to catch those unique email addresses. So that'll definitely help. And then eventually we'll put in even stricter kind of gates there for you all.
Awesome. All right. Next we have from Tracy. Is there an integration with Salesforce? And it would be cool to track who you send items through in the contact card.
Cool. So there's a few different ways to approach this. There's not a specific integration between Redeem and Salesforce. Now, obviously, we provide you all the contact data of whoever filled this information out, and you can easily export that, bring it over to Salesforce, and do some cross analysis and reporting. That said, definitely something that we can think about doing an integration if somebody is redeemed through a redemption process, showcasing that on the contact. That said, we do have a Salesforce app integration, and it allows you, we use it ourselves in our own Salesforce environment, where it allows you to download the SwagUp app. And then anytime you're in a contact, you see a little send swag button up on the top right. And candidly, we haven't done a great job of marketing and showing this to customers. But we do have a Salesforce integration app that just makes it a lot easier to send things to people straight from Salesforce. And then you have kind of an admin view where you can see all the packages that were sent, how much you spent on shipping, some of that stuff. So if you're interested in learning a little bit more about the Salesforce app, definitely reach out to us. But I think, it's good for Rob to have on his roadmap of like, how can the data within Redeem be leveraged across other, sales and marketing and HR platforms as well. So definitely, if you start using Redeem, we'd love to get some more time on the books with you, Tracy. So.
From Michelle, if we are automating shipments using the Redeem page and our packs include a shirt, for example, does the Redeem page update to reflect when sizes are out of stock?
Yep, exactly. So that's what Rob had just shown. Once we launch the product select, I think that we're slated for, Rob, what is it, September 12th or so is kind of when we're hoping to get that out.
Middle to end of September.
Yeah, middle to end of September. As you said, the recipients will only be able to select from available sizes that are available at that time. Now, I could see a use case where you might want to kind of have a pending shipments backlog. So you might still want to know that they're a medium. And then when you restock, we can just have that kind of taken care of. But for now, we're going to kind of put that validation in place so that they can't fill that out. You could always do a collection list instead, where you can just collect those addresses and sizes ahead of time. One more thing too, we didn't talk about it, but as we think about the roadmap going forward, if you're doing, let's say you're kicking off the holiday order for 2022 for, let's say, Lucid Chart or Lucid, and you have 500 employees across the globe. What we want to enable for you all is to have this collection list, send it out to people. They can provide their information. They can provide the products that they want or make their selections. And then one click, turn that collection list and collection redemption process into an order. So automatically generate an order. What are all the sizes? What are all the costs associated with all the shipments that people have requested? And then just make it super, super simple to go from collection to order. So all you would basically be doing is, pick the items, set up the redeem page, send it out to people, and then one click, turn it into an order once the time is elapsed or once you're ready to kind of finalize it. And that's kind of the vision we have as well for, collections turning into orders over time.
From Colleen, is there a possibility to get email notifications when someone has submitted this info?
Cool. Rob, do you want to take this?
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, that is on our radar. It wasn't one of the major buckets we called out on the roadmap of the road ahead, but is something we've heard feedback throughout our beta over the last 3 to 4 weeks, and something that is on our radar for something to do. Especially too with Autoship, I think the notifications might change as well, where if you have Autoship set up, it's going to automatically ship. And if for some reason there's any sort of failure, we'll be notifying you there as well. So notifications is on the roadmap, just not called out into one of those major buckets that I talked to.
Cool. Yeah, I think one of the tricky things with notifications too is, some of our customers leverage redeem pages at pretty extensive volumes. They might have thousands of recipients filling in that information. So we have to be careful about how do we want to control the logic for notifications. Do we want to send like a digest at the end of the day or at the end of the week that says, hey, here are all the people that submitted requests for each of these different redeems, or do you want to get it one by one? So I think, as people start to leverage redeem more and more, we'll get better feedback to understand what the right way to solve some of these problems is. So this next 3, 4, 5, 6 week period is really just sponging up as much feedback as possible from everybody, so that we could continue to make it better and prioritize the stuff that matters.
Yeah, and Michael, thank you. That's a great point. We didn't want to by default notify you every single time, because if you're submitting it to thousands of people, you're gonna hate your inbox. So we want to take a little bit more time to understand the different use cases. But as feedback comes in and we iterate, it's definitely something that's on our radar.
Cool.
All right, and from Oliver, for address smart correction, would this feature also apply for international addresses?
Rob, you want to jump in?
Yep, and yes, it will. So whether it's domestic or international, we will make sure to, if we get a recommended address, we'll provide it to the user to confirm. And if for some reason when a address is submitted, if our system cannot identify it, we still give the option to the recipient to verify that they've entered it correctly. So in one way or another, it's going to be validated, and we do have it set up for international shipments.
Cool. I think just from an expectation setting standpoint, though, international addresses are just more tricky in general than US addresses. US addresses follow a pretty standard formatting, whereas international can be vary per country. So they're always a little bit harder to validate, but we use best-in-class API services to validate them to the best of our ability. So.
Melanie has a couple here. So the first one is it only branded SwagUp merch? If so, will there be options to add non-branded merch in the future, such as gift cards or experiences?
Cool. First off, good question. We, historically speaking, SwagUp has not always been just about branded merchandise. There's, especially when it comes to like holiday times, we've always done a lot of putting books in packages, candles, food items, this or that. So there is a whole entire plethora of items that you can purchase through us that aren't necessarily branded. And obviously any item that we offer could be unbranded. When it comes to things like digital experiences, like gift cards, potentially, and some of those other things, it's not something that we're focused on right now. I mean, we have done physical gift cards in packages. So, a swag pack plus an Uber Eats gift card or something for $25. Candidly speaking, we don't have the greatest workflow for kind of managing that. But if this is something that's super important, or we see that people really want to keep leveraging these, redeem pages for other types of gifting, it could, easily morph into just, more of a gifting solution for people. That said, there are other companies out there that are good at that kind of stuff. But you could definitely get non-branded merch from us for sure and include it in here.
And the second one is, do we have to purchase the items up front and have them waiting to ship?
That's pretty funny. I was literally just writing a note that I wanted to talk about this. So, first off, if you do a collection form, you don't have to have those items ready to go ahead of time. We can do it as more of almost like a pre-sale kind of experience where you're collecting what you're ultimately going to end up ordering. So we don't have to do it. A product select doesn't necessarily mean auto ship. You don't have to have that inventory to ship from right away. And we can help you kind of understand what you're going to be purchasing. Now, the second kind of iteration of this is potentially, what if we wanted to do on-demand products in general? What if you never want to have inventory of these products? And that's definitely something that we want to enable for you all at some point. So for example, let's say we're talking about a Yeti mug. Instead of you having to have 50 or 100, the idea of potentially allowing a user or a recipient to say, hey, I want the Yeti mug, and then we produce that on demand and just ship one at a time. Obviously, there's pros and cons. We've historically been kind of against this on-demand model, for a lot of different reasons. But there definitely are pros and cons of being able to have exactly. On-demand can get very expensive from a cost standpoint. If something in bulk would cost $28 a unit, we might have to charge $45 a unit and stuff like that. And then you also run the risk of the stock not being available anymore by the time you actually want to gift it to somebody. But we also recognize that a lot of companies do want to have that flexibility to have different types of options, and they don't know how many people are going to buy and stuff. So if you have more thoughts or opinions on that kind of trade-off and dichotomy, we'd love to hear from you and talk in more detail there. But Rob, when it comes to product select and collections. I know that we talked about having the validation for what's in stock, what's out of stock, but my assumption is we do want to allow people to, put up items there that they don't have stock if they want to collect, how many they're going to need, right?
Yeah, absolutely. One of the, I'd say, bigger use cases that we want to tackle first, kind of as a foundational element, is people just wanted to know how many products to order and what sizes. It's not information that they have now, so it can be used as a pre-order tool to figure that out. I've also received feedback. It could be a pre-order tools. Hey, we have these really cool 2 to 3 designs, and we don't know what our our employees might want if they're doing it for their internal employees. So let the employees vote on which ones they like the most and go with the one that gets the most votes. So there's a lot of different creative ways to use it, but yeah, you don't need to have stock available to start using Redeem by any means.
Cool.
So next from Tracy, we'll have different swag pack levels for different roles. Will each swag level need its own redemption page? And if so, is there an additional cost for that?
Perfect. So yeah, I think from my understanding of the question, it sounds like something that you would want to set up multiple redeem pages so that each level, I don't know if this is levels based on seniority or the type of role that they have, or the type, the level of the customer that, based on how much revenue they spend with you or whatever it might be. But yeah, definitely would want to set up multiple redeem pages. Obviously, one day in the future, we could potentially have integrations with Salesforce data to trigger which link that they have to get sent and kind of help you from an automation standpoint. But when it comes to additional costs, as of now, we have no plans to charge for the use of Redeem. We have no plans as of now to put up artificial barriers of, you can only set up 5 pages or you can only set up 10 pages. Our philosophy has always been, let's make it as simple as possible for you all to use us, and let's just help you use Swag at scale as much as possible and give you as much value so that you continue to work with us and keep ordering. And that's going to continue to be our philosophy here. So.
And a couple more from Melanie. Are you prepared for us to use this as holiday gifts this year?
Perfect. Yeah, I mean, that's part of the impetus for getting this out. We understand that holidays are around the corner. Holidays are the busiest time for us. As I said, Redeem is out right now. You can use it in your dashboard today from a collection standpoint. You can use it from a product selection standpoint within the next month or so. Probably in the next 3 or 4 weeks, we'll have it in our own testing environment to start playing with. And then by October, the beginning of October is when we plan to have the actual Autoship as well. So we're doing everything we can to get all these follow-on functionality features done in time for the beginning of October, mid of October, so that all of October, November, December, Redeem can be used to its fullest potential, and also continue to improve upon little fixes here and there. So 100%, this is a huge push to ensure that the holiday season goes much smoother for you all.
Cool. And from Melissa, can we move our existing swag into this format?
Cool. So I want to make sure I understand the question. So if you have, maybe Melissa, you have an existing redeem page or redemption process that we've set up in the past for you, and you want to move it over. If that's not the question, happy to kind of dive into more detail, but whatever it is, we want to have everybody using our own native redeem pages here. And if we need to, have our AEs help you kind of make that transition, totally down to help make that happen. So.
Yeah, and I'll just add too, if it's not, I have an existing redeem page and I want to convert it to this, if it's just, can you use existing swag? Yes, you absolutely can. Again, that'll come in product selection where you actually associate the swag item to the page, but you can start using contact collection if you want to. It's available right now in your dashboard.
Cool.
Are we limited to only 4 items per page right now?
Rob, you want to talk about that?
Right now, we don't have product selection. That was, again, showing you what's to come. Again, our goal is to have that complete and out to you all this quarter by the end of Q3, end of September. So right now, we don't have the ability to add any items to a page, but what you're doing is you're collecting all the information, and it makes it a lot easier to then, as Michael showed, you have all this context group and send out swag in bulk. And then when product selection comes along, yes, the first limit we're going to have is 4 items per page. And again, we'll iterate on that to see what the feedback is and if we need to add more or anything like that.
I gotta say, there's so many good questions in this Q&A here, especially, and they're almost not even questions. They're almost like preempting the functionality that's needed.
Oh, 100%. I'm loving these right now.
Yeah, which we're super excited about. I mean, this is a very early release in the sense of let's get this in your hands as quickly as possible so that all of these questions that are surfacing right now continue to get surfaced faster and faster so that we can build this stuff in for you all quickly. And sometimes these features are very simple. For example, I saw a question on there around, could we enable how many units or how many products a person can pick, limit them to 2 or limit them to 4? These are very simple, tweaks to, the planned functionality, but it's good to know, how often these are coming up, what are the different use cases, and we'll be able to react quickly to this. So, Rob and his team are dedicated to Redeem as a product. So we're going to continue to move fast on this stuff.
And from Tatiana, will auto shipment options be customizable by country? For example, if in the UK, we'll auto ship, but if in France, we'll need to verify before sending.
Great question. That's something we want to add on. The first version of auto shipment will probably not have all those bells and whistles, but something that I've heard before, and the more we hear it, the more control we can give to you in the customization.
There was also in a first iteration that we built of Redeem, when we ended up rolling it back and not doing it in V1, was just a toggle for, do you want this to be an international eligible Redeem page or not? Because sometimes sometimes you do a campaign like, okay, we're giving out swag to followers on social media or something, you send them the link, but you didn't realize some of these people are in the UK or some of them are in France or whatever, and it's going to cost a bit more. So I think, again, as you all get a chance to utilize this, we'd love to hear from you to understand how granular level of controls matter to your company, and we can start to prioritize getting them in there.
Yeah, if it's important to get as granular to target by geolocation, that's something that we can investigate and learn from you on the needs there. But the way I look at a lot of this and all the bells and whistles we want to add is any sort of campaign management that you might experience, in whether it's an ad campaign or things like that, a lot of the similar kind of functionality.
Yep. All right, and one more from Tatiana. Is the ability to enable auto reorder for popular items an option on the roadmap? Like you mentioned with the Yeti mug, if we only have 5 left in stock, but 15 submissions come in, can we set thresholds to auto order in increments to meet needs?
Yep. So this is a good question. So I wouldn't necessarily bucket this in Redeem or the redemption team and process, but in general, the idea of just when you have inventory, being able to really configure the logic around it. So one of the next things, we used to have this and we're adding it back, is just notification logic on the inventory. So when you get down to a certain level of inventory, you get out of stock of inventory, allowing you as the user to set that threshold that you want to be notified of, okay, when this item goes below 20, I want to be notified about it. The natural progression of that functionality is then, oh, don't even notify me, just automatically place that reorder. So it's 100% something that we've been thinking about and plan to do, because as you said, I mean, it benefits all of us to build this in as frictionless a way as possible, where you have this on, you set it, you forget it, everybody's getting what they need. When you run low on stock, you automatically get reorders. Something that we can start to do, and this is more of a long-term thing, is look at your utilization patterns. If you're utilizing 3 Yeti mugs a month or 10 a month, and you have 22 left and the production time is 6 weeks, 5 weeks, we should be able to pretty clearly say, hey, we need to place this reorder by August 13th, because otherwise you're probably not going to have stock in time for once more submissions are coming through. So again, this is definitely a foundation for more to come. But the more that we can interact with you all and hear some of the things that you really want, I mean, we're here in service of you all. Our mission has always been to eliminate the friction in the swag buying and distribution process so that you can build connections with the people that matter to your company at scale. And we want to continue, we're really happy with how the product and engineering team has continued to progress and develop over these last few months, and the velocity of which we're getting things out. And as I said, this is one launch. There's other launches coming up, And I'm excited that you all are excited as well and engaged, because the more that we can interact, the more that we can prioritize the things that matter for you all.
And from Kiki, can you integrate redeem pages with the new fully customizable mini kits with no minimums?
Yep, this is a good point. Rob, do you have thoughts here? I mean, this kind of plays into what I was talking about with allowing you to select from on-demand products. The mini kits are a little bit of a different scenario for, we really want to just prioritize having a no minimum option for you all this year. Candidly speaking, it's not as seamlessly like integrated into our entire, system and back end to leverage these. But Rob, do you have any initial thoughts on that?
Not anything really additional to what you have before. What I'd say is what you can do now is, again, collect information of the people you plan to send it to, so that way you can make an educated decision on these mini kits. But yeah, it would take some more discovery and learning the different use cases.
Yep. Cool.
And
a lot of questions.
Sarah.
That's great.
From Sarah,
Cool.
will redeem only allow one item to be selected, or can we allow a max item selection, such as allowing employees to select 2 of the 4 available products, etc.?
Yep. So as I said, in version 1, we're going to keep it to 1 item max. We'll allow you to put up to 4 products on the page to select from, and then we'll just limit it to 1 item. You can always then send them the link again, or allow them to resubmit it. But for now, we're going to keep it at 1. But definitely, fast following, adding the ability to select a max of, maybe it's on the specific link that you're going to send to them, like their link allows them to pick 2, or maybe it's everybody can pick 2. Definitely. But there's different ways to solve this problem. You can do it potentially through a token process where you give them coins or tokens or credits. Like, okay, you have 2 points and each item's worth 1 point, and let them pick. Or do you want to just put there's a generalized kind of limiter and say, hey, everybody can pick 2. I personally feel that a token system is a little bit more scalable and easily utilized for more use cases. So that's why we don't rush into just, building the functionality. We want to understand kind of, how you all think about some of the different paths.
I think that was our last question.
Sweet. Awesome. Well, this was a ton of fun. It was great to see how many people showed up. Great to see how many people made it to the end and engaged with, from questions and answers. And I'm really, really excited to get everybody, starting to build the first, their first redeem pages, get their first recipients to fill it out. We're going to be giving out, as we said, we're giving out 5 of those limited edition redeem launch swag packs to people that filled out our redeem page. But then also we're going to be giving out another 10 to companies and users that set up their own redeem pages this week and start to get some recipients to put in their information. So we're going to be monitoring it. Rob's team's looking at the metrics and data to see all the different pages that are getting spun up and the number of recipients. And as we said, there's a lot more coming fast from a feature functionality standpoint. So Rob, anything else you want to add before we jump off?
No, just thank you for joining, and thank you for all the questions. It was a lot of fun, and it's great to hear the feedback, because it just gets my wheels turning, and talking to the team, it'll get us motivated. So just thank you so much for joining and taking the time to participate.
Yeah,
right,
awesome. We recorded this as well too, so we'll share it out as well.
We have one more question from Brooke, actually.
Brooke on our team?
If we have swag boxes in inventory, can the box as a whole be added into a redeem page?
Yeah, for sure. 100%. I mean, you'll be able to pull from all the different inventory products that you have and build redeem pages specifically for it, or where you want to have selected options. You don't always have to have options, like from a product select standpoint. When we get to that Autoship, I don't even know what the Autoship portion of the roadmap, you'll be able to associate a specific product with it so that it'll just automatically get sent to them. So definitely will allow you to pull from your existing inventory.
Awesome.
Cool. Great. Well, I don't want to pull you back anymore, Rob. I want you to get back to the team and keep chucking along and get some of this more functionality out there. But really excited that everybody was here and engaged, and excited to see some of these pages being built. I also want to, we should do an award for the most beautiful landing page that's created, a redeem page. But we can save that for another day.
Okay.